Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
They don't believe you. You need more people. Well, there are their fair share of skeptics, whether it's a legit cut, legit pull-out, legit postponement.
It was a punch with a fist. You can see the direction of the elbow is following the fist afterwards, but it's difficult to read it from the video. You see there was a clear uppercut, but whether it caused the cut, we don't know.
Well, we don't believe you. You need more people.
But I don't think it's so much Usyk and Krashuk and Klimas don't believe Tyson Fury. Everybody wants to fuck with Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Like, he's the common denominator, the dumping spot where we're going to dump and unload all our frustrations. And not without just cause. I think right now they're engaged in a psychological war, Fury and Usyk. In this interview, Usyk said that acting was his first love in response to the promo that he and Fury did for the fight. And the interviewer said, yeah, you act really well. And Usyk responded, yeah, he wanted to be an actor. Has Fury met his match? We wonder. Has he met his match? These are not tactics that Usyk has resorted to previously, and he's fought good opponents. Anthony Joshua, Derek Chisora, Tony Bellew at Cruiser, Gassiev, Bradis. When Usyk put on that dancing display in Saudi Arabia, right in front of Anthony Joshua, where they was outdoors and the music was playing, he kind of stole the crowd, didn't he? They were cheering him on and clapping to the rhythm as he entertained. That was psychology. And when he dressed up as the Joker, that's psychology. But Tyson's brand of psychology is more suited for the gutter. But Tyson Fury is dragging it not only out of Usyk, but out of Krashuk and Klimas. And they're abandoning their more conservative approach to a build-up to a fight. Because Tyson Fury doesn't really make it straightforward like that. Usyk said,
I don't know whether he wants to fight me or not, but the fact that he's scared is real.
He didn't say all this shit to Joshua, or none of the previous opponents I mentioned. Klimas resorting to obscenities as Usyk met his match, because the psychology is going to play a big part in this one. It just is, yeah? And we've never seen Usyk have to resort to these tactics. So technically, you could argue he's entering Tyson Fury's world. Could he be playing into Tyson Fury's hands? Or has Tyson chose the wrong opponent to play his games? When Klimas broke the news to Usyk that the fight was postponed, Usyk just smiled. Klimas said he's too mentally strong to break. Well, something has to give. Something has to give. You could both be mentally strong and someone still has to lose unless it's a draw. You still have to have a rematch. 2 draws on the bounce, what's the chances? How many times has that happened in boxing? 2 consecutive draws between 2 fighters.
If a doctor tells Tyson to have maybe 90 days with no sparring to look at the eye, he only has about 17 to spar then properly prepare for you. Is that a concern?
I don't think about it. We have 3 months, yeah? New data, it's 18 May.
We can go into it on another video, but the data dictates that Fury is very protective of his own. Not that he hasn't fought good opponents, but the pullouts, the fights he's ducked, he's very protective of his own. If it is a legit cut, I'm telling you now, don't be surprised if he pulls out again. 10 million penalty or not. Don't be surprised if he pulls out again. If the fight goes ahead, and bear in mind this cut is in the same region where the cut he sustained against Otto Wallin was. Is Usyk not going to target the eye? What if it's not fully healed? This could be a very anticlimactic fight, an unsatisfactory ending if Fury is left bleeding in his corner, unable to continue, if the wound easily reopens. The Fury fans are going to say it's not a legit victory, but he does have a rematch where he'll have enough time to
heal up, wheel up, bring it back, come rewind,
and try again.
I'm the daddy. I heard you've been calling out everyone else's name. I can't hear mine. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
So Turkey Al-Sheikh made an offer to FILIP HRGOVIC to pick an opponent of his choice to fight on the undercard of Joshua versus Ngannou. And Daniel responded. I heard you calling out names. I can't hear mine. Now, I like this reinvented Daniel Dubois. I do. And, you know, that was way better smack talk than the killing lions in Saudi Arabia. That was way better. Yeah. That one slapped. Hey, HRGOVIC, it's a good fight. It's a dangerous fight, though. It's a very dangerous fight. But after fighting Mark Demore in his last outing, and the belts are going to be held up for a while, the Greenwich lad has thrown down the gauntlet. Mr. HRGOVIC, time for smoke, and Daniel wants all of it. Perfect scenario for me to break down my modern day boogeyman theory in boxing. If you really did some historical digging, which I know a lot of people don't want to do, you won't be calling these guys boogeymen. They're eating way too well to be called boogeymen. Way too well. A lot of these boogeymen wasn't known. They wasn't household names in their time. They haven't become relevant until modern day historians have brought them up. I wonder if people understand that. So, when HRGOVIC was awaiting his opponent for an eliminator and a host of opponents turned down the fight. Now, the HRGOVIC fan club decided to turn this into, they just don't want the smoke. But the facts are, a lot of people were playing risk-reward because HRGOVIC ain't a draw. A lot of them were looking at the purse bids being pitched, and a lot of them were thinking, well, I can get a lesser opponent for a little less money, but it's less risk, you know? So, when HRGOVIC was awaiting his opponent for an eliminator and a host of opponents turned down the fight. Now, the HRGOVIC fan club decided to turn this into, they just don't want the smoke. But the facts are, a lot of people were playing risk-reward because HRGOVIC ain't a draw. A lot of them were looking at the purse bids being pitched, and a lot of them were thinking, well, I can get a lesser opponent for a little less money, but it's less risk, you know? The HRGOVIC fan club were acting like he was the reincarnation of Mike Tyson and really intimidating. And if you look at his performances, it's been far from that. No, they were just playing the modern day game of boxing. They would have done that to most top 10 who were in HRGOVIC's position waiting for an eliminator opponent. They would have did that to most of them. Now, off the top, I think Martin Bacoli declined it. Tony Yoka, Parker, Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter, definitely. I mean, he went off the Triller to try and get the bag over there rather than fight HRGOVIC. And his career's never recovered since. But yeah, a host of opponents withdrew. Now, fighters perhaps shouldn't do that. But HRGOVIC a boogeyman? Well, we're going to see now. He fought Mark Demore, and I'm assuming he picked Mark Demore in his last outing. For what reason? This is a joke. So now, let's see if he responds positively to fighting Daniel Dubois. Let's see what he does. Because with Daniel drawing a whole lot of confidence, you can hear it in his voice. It's almost like listening to someone else. Drawing a lot of confidence from that Jamel Miller victory. He's finding his nuts now. Yeah? And HRGOVIC hasn't shone as a pro. He just hasn't. This could be perfect timing for Daniel to get a career-defining scalp. Olympic bronze medalist, highly touted prospect, mandatory contender with one of the sanctioning bodies. Hey, I'm not making a breakdown yet, but I like Daniel in that fight. The Saudi heavyweight league could be in effect, yeah, because that undercard for AJ Ngannou is shaping up. Zhang, Parker, Daniel just called out HRGOVIC. Whew. Boxing events on a weekday were very common in the 80s. Not just in America, but in the UK too. TEOFIMO Lopez, he defends his WBO crown that he won from Josh Taylor last year in good style. He takes on JAMAINE Ortiz, 27 years of age, 13 and 1/8 inside the distance. Lopez, 26 years of age, 19 and 1 with 13 stoppages. It's a great clash. I'd say Ortiz is the more traditional boxer. TEOFIMO has got skills, athletic, he's quick and very powerful. I think his power is quite underestimated. Lopez has a victory over Ortiz in the amateurs, and Ortiz is saying he's going to get his lick back. He's not exactly on best terms. Teo was saying that Jermaine wouldn't last 4 with Lomachenko, and he ended up losing a controversial decision. In my opinion, the fight was a lot tighter than that. I didn't score it round for round though. Post-fight, Ortiz said that Teo was sucking up to him saying, I thought you won. And Ortiz said he doesn't deal with all that two-face sucker business. But that's good there's animosity between them. That's good. Don't want them being too friendly in there. Lopez won a UD over Lomachenko in 2020 with a whole load of scraps at stake. I think he can edge this one out. I was thinking he was going to stop JAMAINE, but nah. This looks like a tricky assignment for Lopez. Good fight though. Why are they holding it on Thursday? Is there something new they're trying, or is there some big NFL or basketball game on Saturday, or some event that could take the attention away from this fight? I haven't really done the research. If you know anything in the comment section, let me know and I'll cover it in the next weekly. Yeah, Lopez's extra firepower could be what separates the two men. JAMAINE's developed his game from when I saw him when he was younger, and it's a mandatory defense. The southpaw stance is going to give Teo trouble. This is a tough fight. It's a pretty good top rank card on ESPN. You've got Keyshawn Davis stepping up against Jose Pedraza. Good fight. And they've also got the prospect Abdullah Mason on there. I like the card. Official statement from the Gorilla. It is with a heavy heart that I have come to the decision to hang up my gloves and retire from professional boxing. I've been absolutely blessed to have the most amazing career over the past 14 years, starting in Bethnal Green in 2010 and ending in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been lucky enough to box everywhere from the O2 Arena, T-Mobile in Las Vegas, Alexander Palace, Manchester Arena, to Guadalajara in Mexico. For a boy from Islington, it's been some run. Although I didn't manage to win that world title, I've achieved and experienced more than I could have ever imagined when I first put on a pair of gloves, and I wouldn't change that for any belt. I'd like to thank the whole team and Matchroom staff, especially Eddie, Barry, and Frank, my trainer and manager Tony and Charlie Sims, and my strength and conditioning coach Dan Lawrence, for their constant support, and of course, my loving family, my partner Nancy, kids Heidi and Brody. I'm blessed to have you all in my corner. Finally, although my professional career as a boxer is over now, the sport won't be able to get rid of me that easily. And I look forward to officially starting my new career as a coach, working alongside Tony at the Matchroom gym very shortly. There's no place like home. Thanks again, John the Gorilla Ryder. Now, he said he didn't win a world title. I suppose him being extremely unlucky against Kevin Smith, in my opinion, won't be much consolation. He was the longest serving boxer on Matchroom, didn't duck no smoke, made for some very good fights. I have to big up John Ryder still, you hear me? Islington in the house. 35 years of age, got stopped by Jaime just the other week, and before that, Canelo outpointed him and gave him a good beating. Good time to get out. I'm glad he's got the gig at the Matchroom gym. Do you think? Now, Conor Ben stupidly called out Terence Crawford. We have to say stupidly called out Terence Crawford. But BOMAC was recently asked, what did you think of Conor's performance against Pete Dobson? I think he looked like trash, even though I didn't see the fight. People told me he looked like trash. Doesn't you saying you didn't see the fight conflict with the part where you said you think he looked like trash? Liam Williams, he retired last year, around September. Probably frustrated that the fight dates weren't there. You know, he went through the circuit, the UK domestic circuit, Queensbury, Probellum, Wasserman, and he retired. He did retire. That was short-lived. It was announced that he was going to fight HAMSAH SHEERAZ, Queensbury prospect, 18-0, 14 inside the distance, 24 years of age. Liam Williams, 31 years of age, 25 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 20 inside the distance. HAMSAH pulled out with a perforated ear, and they've rescheduled for this Saturday at the Copper Box Arena in Hackney, London. Now, they're both big punches, and it's dependent on how much ambition Liam Williams has, whether this is a competitive fight or if he actually has a chance of winning. HAMSAH SHEERAZ with Ricky Nunez can be a decent boxer puncher, can definitely crack. It's got good size for a 160 pounder. Some people are skeptical. He was put on the floor not too long ago. He got back up and won. This is definitely his toughest opponent. Definitely so. And Frank Warren will be expecting HAMSAH to pass this with flying colours. But on his day, Liam can make it tough for his opponents. He definitely can. He's a good puncher. Wild, he's aggressive, a little reckless. That makes him dangerous, but it also makes him susceptible to counters, as we saw against Eubank Jr. I'm interested in seeing that fight, definitely so. If HAMSAH bashes up Liam Williams, more than likely we'll see Liam hanging him up for good. I think HAMSAH will win this. I think he'll win the fight. But how he wins is what will tell us if he has world-class potential. I think he'll stop Liam Williams. I think he'll stop him. Anthony Yarde is on the card. His opponent comes from Serbia. He's been stopped a couple of times and he's won about 33 fights and only lost 2. Anthony's talking about a Joshua Boatsi fight and Boatsi's talking about it too. So let's hope that can be made. There was a big offer made for that fight to be staged abroad. Spencer Fearon was talking about it. $5 million on the table, whole load of money.